Hey there guys, it's AvidExpert here. I have returned from my transgender operation. I was like, you know what? I don't care what Chris Redfield is doing. I don't know why he's umbrella fluid. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense to me. I'm just like trying to copy the trends, but I thought I'm not gonna be an SJW anymore, so I have returned to my normal voice. I hope you guys are okay with that. I do support the umbrella fluid causes, it just wasn't for me. If you guys want to think that Umbrella is a good corporation all of a sudden after they have actually destroyed cities and millions of lives, you know, that is the kind of fluid. Some people are just evil fluid. They're like, one day I'm a bad person, one day I'm a good person, one day I'm killing millions of people, one day I'm saving people. Like, that's all good with me, man. I know how the modern world's going. But anyway, I just want to talk today because we've got some new details about the Not a Hero DLC. This is some really interesting stuff anyway, and it gives us a lot of details as to what we should expect anyway. And I'll be getting into that now, so let's get into the juicy details without any further delay. So first off, I would just like to say thank you very much to the NeoGAF forums, especially Dusk Golem and Monsieur Creamy. I apologize if I butchered any of your names, but all of the details come from these guys. So if you could, in the comments, or just go pop over to NeoGAF and give these guys a little bit of a shout out and a thank you. It is their hard work that really pays off for this stuff, and it is important to give credit back to the source material. I just also think as a community we deserve to have this information in as many places as possible, and it allows us all to speculate. It's unfair that these pieces of information are exclusive to specific areas, so I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much if you do actually go and give them a little bit of a shout out. Because I know there are other YouTubers out there that keep stealing their content, pretend to be about integrity, but in reality they never give credit to these guys. So the first thing is you can see that you're going to get a knife, grenades, the punch ability and things like that. We already knew about that. The interesting stuff here is there is an Albert 1 and 2 reference. Now we know the gun at the end of Resident Evil 7 was basically called the Albert gun. But why is there two versions here? And is it Chris? Why is it that Chris actually has Albert's weapons on his person? Is he holding some kind of sentiment, or is this some kind of indication Wesker could actually really be truly behind all of this? Something else that's interesting to note that you may have seen if you saw the datamined pictures of the items that we're going to have is there is various scopes. So we have scope A, B, and C, and those actually line up with other things that we saw. So it seems like in the base game, we didn't actually have access to scopes or iron sights, and in the DLC, they do seem to be going in on that, which again, I actually appreciate. I just don't think this DLC would work very well with VR because of that, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. It's also been leaked that it seems like Chris is going to be using his Umbrella outfit, and he'll be using steroids and other things. This could actually be a little bit of an explanation of why he was such a boulder punching motherfucker in Resident Evil 5. I think the confirmation of him being a steroid abuser in many people's eyes has actually been confirmed now. His strength did not come from sheer working out. Tell me one bodybuilder on the planet that could punch boulders after bench pressing. It seems like steroids have been the way forward in the Resident Evil universe. Jokes aside, it does actually seem like the suit is going to be used in tandem with the injections, which I'm not sure if people will be happy about or not, but it does seem like body enhancement, steroids and things are going to become more of a core part of the universe now, which makes sense because these things are actually used in mild amounts with soldiers in the US and other organizations to help people do their operations better. It seems like some of the molded are now going to release toxic gas, which actually damages Chris, but also enhances the normal molded and they become way more aggressive. That means that you're going to have to prioritize your enemies quite well, and there's going to be a level of strategy there. I also assume the gas mask, which has been leaked, wasn't just for the area where we're going to have to turn off a gas valve. It seems like we're going to have to use it against the enemies as well. And there's also apparently smaller molded that are obviously inspired by the facehugger from Alien. I haven't actually seen any screenshots of these, but it seems like they're going for a much more horror aspect, even more so than Resident Evil 7, because those things should freak everybody out. And don't worry, guys, I think the confirmation that it might be Chris is confirmed, because it seems like you can punch enemies. And who else goes around punching molded other than Chris? Of course that was going to be a case. It seems like this DLC, because of the assault rifles and all of these things, are going to be less about the stealth and about the horror and more into an action-packed game, kind of like Resident Evil 5 and 6. Take that at your own discretion. I could be wrong about it, but I don't see why you've got knife and punch abilities and etc. if that isn't the case. It also seems that the DLC was provided by a third-party studio. This isn't the first case, actually. A lot of third-party studios helped out with the core development of Resident Evil 7, but Capcom apparently wasn't happy with the quality, so they themselves are reworking the levels to be higher quality. So if you see any leaked screenshots, that is not going to be the finalized game. We already knew from my previous videos that you were going to be rescuing Bravo Team, but it actually seems that Lucas has trapped them and it's going to be a puzzle-solving environment to get your squad back. I'm sure Lucas is going to be going around taunting you, kind of like in the base game once again. There is also going to be a unique boss battle in the DLC. It seems to be hinted that there may only be one. I'm not sure if it is Lucas, because it does talk about a scene, remember, where you subdue Lucas, and I don't see how you could subdue Lucas if he's mutated, kind of like Jack. I don't know, we'll see when it finally comes out. Anyway guys, that's all I really have to offer for this video. I hope you appreciated this as always. The next video I'm going to be covering is to do with Lucas, actually, with these white molded, the gas molded, and the way they can affect other creatures, and the fact that Lucas had a lab in the mine area leads me to believe he's been experimenting on the molded due to the connections he has, and they were wanting to test out what kind of new BOWs they could create, and I think that is honestly the purpose of this DLC. If my theory is correct here, I think the eavesdropping conversation you have on Lucas in the DLC is basically going to give us a little bit of an idea of what their motivation and their agenda really is. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Have a beautiful day. Take it easy, and peace.